Kind of curious how long FaZe is going to keep this 2-2 split going. They're both kind of dead center, equidistant from the edges currently. So I think this is kind of a tough decision for FaZe. Do we group up? Do we try to just solidify a defense somewhere because of, you know, the fact that maybe someone's going to have to crash us? But there's still quite a bit of room to maneuver in this circle, and there's still a lot of teams fighting on the edge. So FaZe might be able to hold on to that 2-2 split for at least one more circle. I want to talk about DuckJuice's play. I hope we see a replay of that from his perspective, because he played that so well. And it was a bit of a timing thing. He caught Orko when Orko wasn't very close to. Oh wait, hold on. This is the PPFS. Oh, Luca, that was disgusting, but this didn't go so good.
Oh, this is just a really weird fight in general that's oddly timed.
Oh.
It feels like Full Sense had so much momentum in their defense, and then it just gets to be a whole bunch of other teams starting to take shots into the butts of both of these guys and forcing it down in this lower section.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, at the bottom of your screen, Tiggleton's letting loose with some mortars towards Team Liquid. Luke actually catches a bit of damage, but doesn't get knocked, so that's not too bad for them right now. They're able to spread out and stay alive and kind of set up this defense. Falcons is trying to soften up Team Liquid, do a little saturation damage here, see if they can get through. Shrimzy on point.
I really like this. Using Tiggleton to just kind of pop open the doors, at least force Team Liquid out of a more comfortable position that they were playing from defense.
Ooh.
But, I mean, Team Liquid and nades. Alo just drops it right on top of him. H1 already down. Easy flush to follow up, but a bit of an overpeak that's going to get punished by Kickstart. Alo going to go ahead and get the flush onto Shrimzy as well. And now Falcons, they've got Tiggleton. Remember, he was doing the Morton back behind all of this. He's not in position to really reinforce too much, but he's just going to have to send it. While this is going on, just to the north, it is going to be the Expendables catching into 17, and that's going to force Expendables to really run down this line. Falcons do not have much time on this, but you can see backstabs now starting to come into play. Too many teams getting attention on this point as E-Arena backstabbing onto Team Liquid, and here comes the Expendables.
Great timing from E-Arena. They are really hitting the back lines of Team Liquid hard and effective, and it's been difficult for Team Liquid to recover, so they're going to lose a couple players. What looked like it was going to be a pretty clean win here for Liquid starts to fall apart. Kick gets a little bit of damage in towards Sparking, switching back over to that red dot, gets the spot, going to go for the stun, but it goes a bit far. Sparkings as well is going pretty far past Kick, so Kick's got the advantage and he's got the win, but immediately gets taken down by Opons.
That's just the game so far. Every single time you finally get your clutch shots in to take out the opponent, there's the third party waiting, popping you off. So E-Arena now cleanly has control over into the southwest. They do have one member in Tan Vu from the Expendables that's going to be over here. 17 in control over the northwest. They're separated away from the circle, so they know that they need to finish it quick. Trying to defend in, it's just going to be on, peeking around, but there is not a lot of an angle to work with there. That fence eating a couple of bullets as well.
Yeah, Khan threw a really nice molly there, too. Threw a grenade into a molly that at least got Kiss out of the way, so he's out of the equation for the rest of this round. But Scappy knows where Khan has to be hiding, and a perfect frag will wipe Buriram out. But Forrest only loses one in that battle. Still very much a big role to play in this game.
It's a big game for Forrest so far. Na'Vi up on the mountain, still looking around. The Arena Lyrics kind of close to him, but that's about it. It feels like a lot of the circle control right now is lined in for Na'Vi, but they can't exploit it because Forrest is just going to try to run in. And Na'Vi was trying to set up for E-Arena, realizing the high ground threat next to them. And it's just going to be all about momentum and speed coming out from Forrest. They've just got to get into point as fast as they can, and they're going to deny out. Using this dip, it's at least going to deny shooting sight lines, but it does put you in throwable sight lines.
Jacob going to challenge Baron at the warehouse. Not sure if he's aware that one player from Forrest had stuck around. I think he's got the links there. Yeah, he does. So that's kind of a precarious position because he's got that level 3 gear. He's got that links that can be an end game difference maker. Finally, though, Baron does end up leaving that warehouse. Doesn't seem to want to try to challenge with the cover fire from E-Arena on the high ground on the other side of the circle. Felt like that was going to be too tough of a fight to take. So E-Arena here making some really nice late game moves.
Just patience, man. They've just been holding it slow, steady, letting Na'Vi do the work up to the north ahead of them. They've been picking up the kills, and everything's been going on to the southwest. More defenses dropping down for Forrest right now. The high ground angles from Na'Vi, though, are the scarier thing for them to deal with. The only benefit to it is Na'Vi really can't push into a point where they can get good angles onto Forrest due to E-Arena's position. So we've just got a full-on standoff for the time being, and that's a way to handle it.
This is one way to deal with that problem. Gonna go for the C4 play. Should even be able to get out of this. Yeah, this is really nicely thought out. It doesn't go all the way though.
Oh, it's too slow.
It doesn't have the tires.
It's just a turtle running down there at the max speed. They finally give up in frustration. Nade starting to land down. Is it going to be that? Looked like that landed in the cubby pretty good, and yes, is gonna connect.
Yeah, they do a ton of damage here to Forest, but E-Arena are going to be the ones to swoop in and claim the points at the very least. Hakatori and Sosa combined to take down Nurens. Things collapsing on top of E-Arena.
E-Arena went for split angles, and it's getting punished pretty heavily, but finally E-Arena starting to turn the angles back around. Navi at 13 kills right now has 2 members up versus E-Arena's 2. There's still 1 down for Navi, and they're committed to the res, so it has only been 1 member in Sosa trying to defend in. Jacob, though, knows this. He's wrapping around the circle, and looks like he's trying to get over there in time to maybe catch anybody before Meds, but the timing is just not going to be right.
And his Lynx bought him the opportunity to make this move. He took down Hakatori with it, forced a res out of Navi, and opened up some space to try to create this extra flank, to try to pin Navi in on the top of the circle, on the outside edge. It's just a matter, are they going to be able to convert? Navi still has the numbers, of course, but E-Arena has been looking really sharp here at the end of the game.
This crossfire could spell their doom or their victory. E-Arena has to trust into their aim. Whenever you lose all the cover, whenever you're just having to fight in no man's land, that's all it comes down to. Multiple members from Navi slowly making their way down the hill, trying to get some Doritos of their own for defense. On the high ground, it's going to be Hakatori lined up against Jacob, realizing the potential of the threat in those angles. Hakatori, this is a bold peak to take against a Lynx.
He's got the FAMAS though, so he's got the opportunity. The damage being done there by Jacob doesn't connect enough to get the knock though. No Pawns behind a tree, actually takes down Hakatori.
Oh, that's going to be big. Now, Sosa extends low on life. Jacob starting to move forward. Opon still defending the angle up. They have control of the center dot for the time being, but Navi seeing if they can maybe light up somebody. Jacob keeps creeping forward, but they cannot get the angle onto him that they want.
They're just dealing with players, but Opons actually gets taken down by Sosa. He had done quite a bit of damage there, but couldn't convert into the knock onto Navi. So that's going to put it all into Jacob. Jacob, 1 more bullet in this Lynx. Can he make it worth it?
Oh, doesn't get the knock, though. Trying to see if he can get some more. And nope, Blue Zone's going to finish it off. And that's going to be Navi taking game number 1.
Exactly what the doctor ordered here for Navi. Looked great in the group stage. Day 1.
Not feeling too good about it, as it's going to be a lot of people taking shots at them. Shin's still going to be pretty close, but Full Sense also took a lot of casualties in their rotate into the circle.
Falcons have a tremendous opportunity here to put themselves on top of the leaderboard. FaZe is going to fall. 4 a.m. going to be the ones to take down Jeems and wipe them out of this. Not a bad game, though, for them. 4 a.m. continuing to cling to life out here as Flash finds Shen. I say that, and Shen does go down. Full Sense trying to use this rock to get a res. The Falcons barreling in. They want 4 a.m. now. They are just all over these edges.
Trimsy wants it very, very close. Peeks between, but no, it's going to be a Tongmu. Goes for the flush as well before he goes down. That sends us into our top 4. VP over into the northeast. Falcons down in the center of the south. We still have Buriram Damasi right back waiting to backstab. And it is a scary, scary stuff the way the VP is moving into the north. Falcons need to finish up Damasti really quick. Do take him down, so we are looking at a 3v4 for the winner.
That's a huge win for Tiggleton. He was just telling me in between game 1 and 2 here that he was a little frustrated with how he played that situation in that fight against Team Liquid. Felt like he threw a little bit. Well, that's a great recovery for him. 4 kills, able to take down the player that could have really ruined their chances in this. Now, it's still going to be hard. VP still has a ton of advantages over Falcons. They've got the numbers, they've got the position, but Falcons could recover. They have played this so well, and they find themselves on top of the leaderboard here for PGS9.
Lucarux seeing if he can find defensive counter angles to deal with the high ground that the Falcons have to work with. Numbers advantage favoring Virtus Pro, but middle of the pack in the thick. Finding kills here and a victory could be big to get some breakaway points for VP. Opposite side of that, like you're talking about, breathing room away from Twisted. Falcons want as much of this as they can get, but losing Shrimsy in that push down going for 4 angry men could be costly.
No, that was really, really pivotal in terms of how the end game is going to shape up. They do spot Corexy. They're able to combine some fire in his direction, but only get about half damage. So that's not exactly what you wanted there. Had you found the knock, you know, VP's so spread out, they would have had to commit resources towards getting that res, and that would have opened up some space for the Falcons to make a maneuver, try to maybe overstack a flank. Instead now, you know, you're relinquishing zone control to VP a bit. They're going to be able to maintain these crossfires.
Remember, this is only phase number 7 as well, so we're probably seeing this slow down just a bit until we get the new circle and how it lines up. All the Falcon members are stacked on top of each other. Lucarux has managed to get very close to the circle. Not quite yet in it, him and Corexy, but there's a couple of dips that they can continue to play on the hillside, but it's a little dicey on that angle. Lucarux not feeling too comfortable with it. Corexy's going to go ahead and regroup next to Beamy and Nixie as well. So this is just kind of attrition fighting right now, trying to burn off armor, helmets, meds, anything that they can get. Lucarux, yeah, again, no surprise, not the best position to be playing over there, so just regrouping, and we've got Wolfpack versus Wolfpack right now. Well, actually, I say that, Lucarux does extend a bit further in to get this hill to work with.
Yeah, absolutely the right move here for VP to get Lucarux.
And loot. So much loot here.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead bodies from, you know, 4 AM fights of old that they're going to be able to claim. A nice headshot found, but still hasn't really opened up much space. You know, now you can set up this 1-3, so the 3 players behind can cover for Lucarux, keep him in a position that when the Falcons has to make a move, he can be there for the frags. You know, they've got 7 still left for VP, and he's going to be the guy that you want to have in that spot. Beamy with 2, would love to maybe get him a little bit further forward, but for now, you can just hold the Falcons down this ridge line. They're going to have to commit a ton of smokes. The good news for Falcons is they do have a ton of smokes, so they can at least make a go at getting down this hill, trying to use this ridge line around the left side to cut off as much opportunity, and that's a big knock for Tiggleton.
Nixie going down of anybody. There is time to go for the res, but you can see instantly spins back into the vehicles. They're trying to shift down the hill. They know it's a problem. They've got to exploit this as fast as possible. Numbers advantage be damned. Jumps out, does manage to at least get to the hill. This is going to be right along the zone, and they have a couple of better pathing options to deal with what we can see. Counterbalancing that, Lucarux instantly reads it. He shifts to the other side of the circle to see if he can continue to hold a crossfire angle, but he has been spotted.
Oh, Corexy hit a nice grenade on a kickstart right as he was lining up to go for the spray. That threw him off just enough that you really can't punish Lucarux there. So VP continuing to play nicely despite some good shooting from the Falcons.
Oh, Corexy does a good follow-up to the rotate from Lucarux, who's now got the high ground. Good play coming up from VP, reading the terrain well, and now Falcons are trapped. 3 members chasing after the Falcons in the low ground, and Lucarux up on the high ground, punishing everything. H-Win, the last one up, and VP takes it clean.
Yeah, a nice fight there at the end. VP really holding on despite some okay shots from the Falcons that got some knocks, but
big catastrophe for FaZe.
oh man, if that had gone a little bit worse for 17. Oh, it's going bad. Hakatori just got a knock. Here comes the Falcons all in the armored vehicle. They've got a Lynx too for H-Win. This is a great opportunity, and they're connecting.
That's just an instant pop out, goes for the punch onto it, but if they all jump back in, Xiao Wu has a present. Kickstart roaming around, seeing if he can bait out the shots, but Hakatori takes the shots onto Xiao Wu. That opens it up for Kickstart. He just runs in, and 17 is gone.
What fantastic timing again from the Falcons, dude. They are absolutely so in tune with each other right now, and their decision-making completely on point. That was so well thought out. Obviously, it helps you get a little bit of long-range shooting from Hakatori, but man, oh man, they executed that flawlessly.
Big fight going on. Alcazia's taking the shots into each other, and sure, let's throw in Thanadol as well.
Yeah, here we go. Smoke's trying to come out. The Falcons trying to get even more value out of the BRDM. Alcazia taking this fight against Twisted Minds. Example.
Oh, Jacob!
Fell off screen. Jacob just went nuts. He hit that BRDM with the Panzer. Unbelievable shot from him. Lou has a good angle onto Roth and gets him jumping.
It's just a bloodbath over here. Cowboy very far away, trying to see if he can take supporting shots, not having clean sight lines onto what's going on close range. It's just going to be him and D. All this is all going to be stacked up on top of each other and throwing back between the two, not really connecting the way either squad wants to. We got to keep an eye on what's going on with E-Arena, as well as Shrimzy, Burron wrapping in. This is just a mess for very little cover to work with afterwards. What is happening with the team of Liquid? They're just falling apart due to Begapa over here.
Yeah, hard to say. There's so much fighting going on right now. Shrimzy's still alive for the Falcons. He's the only one. Time to play a little bit of salvage. The bad news is there's just too many teams in your way. Maybe hoping that the remnants of Buriram are going to be able to do some damage here to E-Arena. God, that's fast, Crimsy. No way.
Crimsy almost got it. It was scary for E-Arena. There's a big break point after Twisted down to E-Arena, but Twisted still being alive has an opportunity. They have to stay alive. Full Sense and VP both, and this is a open circle. We've got a crossroads really being about it. This point that we're looking at is not even in the safe zone. It's the hills that are going to be to the south of that. Twisted doesn't want to run in just quite yet. Just 3-point differential between them and the Falcons, and Burrum looks like they're just going to walk up and present some potential points for them. They take it away, and this is getting closer by a second. Nades, though, follow up from Gen G. Do take down Batulins. This is going to have to be dicey. 89-89, and Lou runs for safety as Gen G goes on the hunt.
Tough spot to be in there as Twisted. They had to deal with Burrum in the back, but Lou gets one. Tosi immediately prone, but it's actually a little bit of help. It's Lucarux who is doing great things for Virtus Pro up on point. Orca, that grenade just went a bit too far. It's just a matter if Gen G's going to be offered the opportunity. No, it's going to be the finish. Tosi's still alive, but Lucarux is going to commit every last frag he has. He doesn't get the finish.
VP has stepped away from the western hold. They've sent Beanie over next to Belmont. Full Sense can't find the angles to really get into this circle. Tosi still being a distraction back behind all of this, but VP looks like they're trying to line up another victory for themselves. Tosi with so few options and Full Sense denying the other angle. Really, the only thing about it, though, is Full Sense being distracted by this, wanting to go for the kill points on it, has a potential of causing a problem. But if Belmont can hit shots like that, who cares?
Yeah, and he's just found the timing there on Abimi, who had no idea that Belmoth had gotten behind him. So he should just be dead to rights. VP gonna have to sacrifice that player. There's no hope. Just gotta lock down your fortified positions. Tosi out of this next zone, gonna have to find a way through, but immediately gets lit up by the links from Flash. Shut down. Lucarux trying to respond, trying to do some damage. He has been so active this game. I love the way he's just bouncing around from position to position, getting info, doing damage, finding points. He has been so impactful for Virtus Pro, not just in this game, but in the one previous as well.
Yeah, this is a highly mobile, highly efficient VP. They're exploiting the map knowledge that they're exploiting time and time again to get into these positions, to get these wide crossfire angles, is absolutely immaculate. This kind of firm separation where they've got Correxy up on top of the building, Nixie playing lower, and even after losing the member that scouted over into the east, Lucarux is playing a bit further away from the squad, down into the south, to see if they can make sure to deny too much control from Full Sense.
This is now just Phase 7.
Yeah.
We're just getting to Phase 7. That's how wild this game has been. This is a huge pickup. Crates coming onto the VP side in the late game could be an absolute difference maker. Doesn't go for the MG3. I don't know, man. I saw what Alcadzia was doing with that thing the other day. Might be worth. Some players really love that gun. I hate it. So I totally respect Nixie's decision. Plus, maybe just feels like with the 5.56 kit that he doesn't really want to try to switch over, maybe leave it there for somebody else, or just, play it out as is.
Flash has been using this hillside to see if he can get something onto VP, but VP has been smartly playing these lower sets in the hill, peeking off and on again, not overextending too much. So Tigger, with the foothold in the circle, has Flash just to the north of him. Belmoth was the one that was playing in the east. Whenever Belmoth comes in, he has to be very cautious of Lucarux, who's just dancing right along the edge of the zone. Flash not finding the knock, but the big thing is Flash has got to make that links work. Full Sense is playing with very little control over the circle, but that's also just kind of due to the lay of the land in this circle, because you can see moving down that hillside, it opens up a lot, and it's VP that are playing these little dips and crevices that are easily capable of exploiting any movement from Full Sense.
Yeah, you're looking for the over peak there, but you can see some of the pings here from Full Sense trying to figure out a way into this next zone. Flash laying out what he wants to do, pinging out where at least they know one of the players of VP is. I think that's Lucarux they've got a beat on, but I did see that Nixie did end up going for that MG3, so he's going to have that machine gun. You get on the ground, you prone with that thing, it's a laser beam. Even just standing up, these pros are good enough that they can make it work just fine, as they're happy to kind of take this easy for now. Again, like you said, Flash with the links, 2 bullets left, has to look for that opportune moment to get a VP player that maybe goes for too aggressive of a peak, or just who knows, maybe gets lucky with the timing. Couple different ways this could shake out. Both teams happy to wait this out for the next phase.
VP has just been massive. 9 kills after the last game, charging up the leaderboard. The performance today has been spectacular. Full sense, they need something to rally around, and this is it's a downhill battle, but it's an uphill battle for the leaderboard, and they are the ones that are going to have to hit their shots and open up some type of opportunity for themselves, because it feels like VP has got a lot of control angles that they're playing from that Flash just, he can't see what he needs to see to get it. I do like kind of how Tigger's being a bit sneaky over there. He's got himself some boxes that he's playing around. I don't think that they know where everyone is, but they do know that VP is very prone to edge wraps and playing off control angles. So I like the fact that they're at least keeping an eye on it as the new circle has popped, and not really favoring anybody right now. This is about the best that either squad could want.
Belmoth does have a car, and he has a few smokes. So if he needs to make a move, he's going to need to make a move. Who am I kidding? He's outside the next circle, but he does have some options available to him to maybe make it a little bit safer. Now, that being said, with an MG3 potentially barreling down on top of you, that adds some uncertainty to that safety equation. So smokes are coming out now. Lucrux as well on his left, something he has to consider, but Belmoth going to be making a move in VP. You could see a couple of those players really looking in towards that direction, knowing that somebody from Full Sense is outside of the next circle.
Well, we've got the map up. Look at Lucarux's position, look at Belmont's position. This will be the catalyst, as these two have to keep getting closer and closer, so that way they can keep some level of crossfire angle for the rest of their squads. They're going to be moved into more vulnerable positions, and whoever spots out who first, or whoever's movement is a bit weaker and allowed the other one to get the shots in, will really find something to make this happen for their squad. Belmoth throwing out the smokes. They already know that there is no sneakiness that's happening. Belmoth and Lucarux have a very good idea of where the other ones are playing from. So instead, it's just trying to lean into safety. Is the Dorito going to be enough, really, that Belmoth can play around it and feel safe, while we've seen VP have to kind of slow down as far as their control and positioning, and it is going to be Full Sense that's creeping in and finding new firing lines.
You got to play for the zone to force players out of position.
Yeah.
That's what both teams are trying to get ahead of the curve with on each other. You know, VP had a bit of an advantage early, I'd say, but now that's kind of starting to fall apart a little bit. There is an uphill that they're going to have to crest. And Full Sense, with this center circle, more center circle control that they've somehow been able to establish. I thought VP would be able to kind of have decent sightlines to at least harass these movements. Instead, they've got some really great smokes here. Belmoth with some of his own, now a few follow-ups to really help him get into position to try to hold down VP's entry angle in towards the center dot.
The way that we've seen that defensive position fall for him is giving them some areas to work with. Virtus Pro has leaned heavily into the east, specifically into Belmoth and Tigger's position, with Flash still playing back behind. Flash doesn't have the clean sight lines that he wants. A lot of smokes down, and Belmoth spots out Lucarux. That's a momentum shift. Now starting to get more vision back into Correxy. Nades collapse right in front of him, but narrowly stays alive. This one goes a bit too far, not going to get the follow-up. So Full Sense still clinging to the momentum off of it. Tigger's creeping up closer and closer by the second. Does VP even know? Finally, it's going to be Belmoth that goes down.
All right, let's see what they can do. Virtus Pro, 2 players versus 2. Flash, I think 1 bullet left in that Lynx, trying to get a little bit further forward, trying to cut off the VP advancement, but they had a lot of smokes left. In fact, they still have 3. The blue zone is out to clear some space. A rotate here from Full Sense to try to bamboozle it. It works.
We can see Full Sense has control over the dot. It's going to be on VP to fight their way out. Corexy gets the knock. We're down to a 1v1. Jockeying around the smokes. Flash on one side, Corexy on the other. Corexy starting to lean around the smokes. Is he going to spun? He does, and that's going to be a follow-up. VP gets another one.
Back-to-back wins for Virtus Pro, and they are shooting up the leaderboards here on day 2. And look at that. Nixie's so happy there. Corexy stands tall. It looked shaky, it looked dicey, but they're able to hang on.
I respect to both
Gonna
teams.
run in, scoop up some of that extra utility from their fallen opponents. 17 now getting crashed, potentially by Twisted.
This is just a bold play using this small dip in the hill. Nade's going to try to be bounced off the backboard. Good bounce onto it. Goes, I think, a bit. No, actually does connect on the Xiaowu. I thought it might have gone a bit too far. 17, they've got this hillside that's going to provide some cover, and Twisted didn't have any options. They've just got a hard send in. Jalbe has a sneaky angle, connects onto one. It's just him and Little Ghost left. Perfectix trying to just run his way in. Queet, that was a crazy seat swap. Just bully his way in.
That was beautiful. Use that nice cover setup that they created with the Pico bus against them. Beautifully thought out by Twisted Minds. Now they're all alone on that western side. That is devastating for 17 Gaming. They maybe could have gotten a little bit further in this game, maybe accrued a few more points. Instead, the rich get richer. Twisted Minds going to be able to get their revives. Here we go. Team Liquid, 6 kills deep into a game, 2 players up. Can they get any further?
Full Sense, who had these compounds for so long, now down to 2 after the assault that came after them. Gen G still sitting at 4. Twisted on the far west. They've got multiple members up, but it doesn't feel good. They don't have a lot of good ways to navigate this circle. So while Full Sense has the compound, they have 2 different squads, and Team Liquid and Gen G both looking after them. Should point out, though, this has at least been some type of rally for Team Liquid at the bottom of the leaderboard.
No, it is the best game we've seen from them, really, throughout this entire grand finals. But my big key right now for Gen G is you've got to deal with Twisted. You've got to find a way to barricade them from another circle, but they don't really have good options. Instead, they're going to try to crash through here. There's a ton of players still left over.
This is very, very bold. Runs right in between the 2 duos. That puts him in an outnumbered situation. Orca just runs in, feeling himself. Quick exchange. Orca does take down Luke, but Luke takes down Tosi. Follow in, it's going to be also Kurt coming alive in a big moment for his squad. Spots it out, but Flame is going to be able to get enough. Here comes Full Sense back behind it. Tigger tries to come up with the way the cars have connected in. Full Sense does not have the angles to work with. Twisted realizes the opportunity. They wrap around. They're trying to get circle control while Full Sense is in trouble.
Bean doing a nice job there holding the line against Tanadol. Just down to Tigger for Full Sense. Bean slides back, wants to get that heal through. Flame trying to use that grenade to buy themselves a little bit of time and space, but this is a golden opportunity for Twisted Minds to separate themselves from the Falcons on the leaderboard.
This is great. This gives them control over the circle. Tigger is now trapped. Gen G making this move was a catalyst to unlock the way that they wanted to get across this, which they thought would be way too vulnerable from these compounds. Now, just 2 members for Gen G down the south, outside of the safe zone, while Tigger has a compound and Twisted has everything else.
The only chance you have here as Gen G is if somehow Twisted Minds oversteps, which they shouldn't. They don't need to go into this compound. There's no reason for them to take that fight. So Gen G just, I mean, you still have a vehicle. You can try to crash, but this is dangerous against a player of Tigger's caliber.
They managed to steal it, at least get right up into his face. 1 member, Flame's just going to be patient with it, but here comes Perfectix. This is the problem. Too many angles onto the side of this. Tigger's trying to stay alive. Gets good angles. Beam does go down, but Tigger took a lot of damage. Perfectix on the outside. Gen G does get eliminated. Now it's just Tigger. Sure, Twisted doesn't have to go for this compound, but now they kind of want to.
Yeah, and it's a grenade from Example that finishes the job. What a nice win for Twisted Minds. A bizarre finish to that game, but they are going to take that every day of the week. But that fight they took against 17 was the winning move.
And that's with section down to the south. Rest of FaZe actually rotating closer in. E-Arena.
Where are you going?
What do you want? I guess you want Team Liquid. Team Liquid trying to defend. They're taking the shots. Scar gonna get taken down. Opons can't find it. Good defense for Team Liquid.
Alo going for the thirstiest long-range shots, but it's okay.
Dude, every point matters in their position.
Hey, yeah. They're claiming it. I like it. Might as well just put that links to use while you can. Nuren's on a sliver of HP, holding on, but Olympus has the sawed-off. Yeah, one way or another, he was dead.
I see mortars flying off in the distance. I don't know where they're going, but it's popping off in a lot of different places. Forest trying to defend their points. Vegapud does get eliminated. E-Arena still just trying to survive on the tethers and the hint of life that they've got up against the blue zone. They could bump into Forest, who's been doing a good job of really controlling point. Center line in right now is going to be 4 Angry Men. Na'Vi having to deal with a lot of contenders, most notably in Buriram that has been roaming around this area. 2 members now down, but it looks like Na'Vi is trying to take the time to rest. Is Domestic going to let him have it? He could peek that side, but is the timing going to be there for him? Doesn't look like it. Oh, now he spots it.
Oh my goodness, Twisted is angling in this direction as well, but Damasti takes down Fairest. Now Khan hungry for more, but there's a molly there to slow him up. He walks into it anyway. It's going to take a bunch of damage for that. Oh, and here comes Tosi from Gen G. Everybody wants a piece of this fight.
Buriram on the outskirts. Unfortunately, the way Twisted's coming in after this, it's going to be more favorable for going after the defenders. So easy pickups on the outside of this one for Twisted. New circle is popped in, goes right up on top. 4 angry men. This compound not going to be in play. Twisted still continuing to punch around the outside of it. Doesn't have vision on Buriram. Buriram still having to be careful of Tosi's position, but not clean sight lines. Edie, rest of the squad now just starting to get up on top of this point, saying, hey, okay, you can just play down below us, but any peaks that go up and further enough around this one, Twisted is going to spot.
For sure. And I'm really concerned for both of these teams that are up here, because Twisted is being extremely cautious and patient. Tosi could have a role to play in all this. Buriram might just say, well, we did what we could. Another bolt-action rifle for Team Liquid. It's sparking with an AWM. Tosi done. Driven into by Buriram and can't even find a knock before his life is claimed. So still Twisted and Navi 2 up each up on top of this.
Team Liquid actually finding some kills, up to 4 right now. That puts them up into 15th place over Al-Qadsia. They also have vision on what's going on with 17. FS, who's been finding some kills. Got to be careful. They're roaming more into the north. Twisted not done off of this point, but remember, it's not inside the safe zone, so I feel like this is just Twisted trying to make sure that nobody can backstab them as they make their way into the safe zone.
Well, they just want to take whatever they can here on the edge. Whatever points they can find. Going to be a little bit awkward. Extends with an ace there. You got a couple. Oh, these grenades are really, really nice.
Of course, they're going to roll right into where they're supposed to go. 4 angry men at range. Looked like they were trying to supervise some of this, but not really being able to get too much out of it, so they can't stop the roll of Team Liquid. Eyeing 17, they don't want to go too hot and heavy with it, so instead, just go ahead and continue to rain down the damage. Blue zone going to be chunking down Jiawu, and that's going to be enough. Alo picking up a lot of it. Pathing should be fine for Team Liquid, as now 4 angry men get some vision, as well as Forest to make it a bit scary. Lou has gone down, as it's just going to be example, the last one up for Twisted Minds.
The knock on a Sosa there from forever away. It wasn't even Twisted Minds. It's Falcons, I think, that gets that. Lou should be resable. It looks like Buriram hasn't moved a muscle. Falcons are looming on the outside of this. They are going to claim the point for Sosa.
Avi wants this.
Extends his, he knows that they're going for the res.
Oh, the timing was just the absolute worst, though. Just about a half second too late. Lyrics trapped way outside right now, as FS going to be down to the south of them. Forest still just continuing to hold it. I gotta say, Forest has been kind of back and forth today. There is an opportunity for them playing this position, but they've got to be careful. Team Liquid starting to get vision, and they are hungry, man. Team Liquid needs points, and they want to see how much they can slurp up from everybody that's fighting in the open.
Yeah, if you can get a knock here from Sparking, that could open the door for another rotation. And it's likely you're going to have to make one as Team Liquid unless there's another hard shift in the circle department. Let's see where we land. Well, actually, they're still in it, so this is pretty nice. The hard shift does favor them and Forest a bit. 4AM might have to play a little bit of defense, but likely a lot of the team's going to get funneled to stuff around them unless somebody gets a crazy idea.
No, you look down there, you're like, oh, that's a squad with a BRDM, and there's 2 of us. What do we do about that one? We've got a tree. They have a BRDM. Okay, so we've got Buriram that's going to be to the east. Yeah, I mean, a good headshot could open up some options. Falcons also have to make a rotate, and they need a lot of points, as it is going to be Twisted with their 2 members still up at 111. Falcons behind that. Remember that Team Liquid was looking at Forest. There's just 3 points separating them out, but Team Liquid kind of more caught up on what's going to be going on. VP still alive, who's been having just a nutty day.
Love what Falcons is doing here. I was just thinking this. You got to rotate the other way. You can't go towards 4AM compound. You got to try to make a go of it on the other side. Flash gets H-Win. Tiggleton takes some damage. Flash gonna back up, look for the grenade, maybe thinking about the point, thinks better of it momentarily, just says, well, I've got a BRDM, let's get in this.
Here's the problem. We've got Buriram. They had the exact same idea. They're wrapping right in behind Falcons. FS has slowed down just enough of what the Falcons were trying to do, and Falcons realize they're getting pinched. They have to spin back around. They have to take care of points on 2 different sides. Debasti jumps out, goes for an easy spray. It's the Falcons just absolutely getting destroyed over here. The idea was good, and Burram was just a second behind with it. FS holding down the line enough. It's going to be enough, but Shrimzy, can you turn it? Can you find something? No! He's going to go down. Follow-up nades now coming up from FS. Tigger gets a big one.
That is huge for Volsense. Oh, Edie, he actually wins that battle. Flash goes for the run over. Can't get him. Edie's just dancing. Happy feet, trying to stay alive, looking for the point. Flash is trying to block him from claiming his teammate's life. Two messes in. He stole it. He's in it, but the blue zone. Oh, my God.
Denied. Dare you to go for it. You're going to have to eat some blue zone damage to get that BRDM back. But guess what? It's not over, Flash. You have to deal with Twisted. He does look like it. Lou just trying to make his way back over to provide the support. Nade from Shin, is it going to connect? Does go along the line, but doesn't hit the way that they want. I did see a Panzerfaust, and did that Molotov hit? Yeah, Lou's in a bit of trouble. He has to retreat from the window.
Oh, that grenade there, at least going to claim a Tungmu's life. Lou didn't take enough damage that it stopped him up just yet. That Panzerfaust may be the difference maker. I'm sure it's in the back of VP's mind that with them holding this compound, but Luka runs in there. Sawed off, working wonders. Just one more player to go.
Oh, but if they double up, pushing up this stairwell, it could be a massive problem. Does take the shot! Lou instantly stops VP in the tracks, holding it for long enough, and I'm curious. The Molotov that connected forced him away. He wanted to try to Panzerfaust down, and he had to hold it to go for heals instead.
Yeah.
That might have been what turned it around, but Forrest now lined up against Team Liquid, and Lou in the compound by his lonesome.
Scappy on the backside finds sparking, so that anchor position paying dividends for Forrest. Alo throwing some stuns, hoping that he can try to get some damage done against this front line that Forrest has created. They're flirting with trying to push over as well. They're still worried about Xiaolu up on the other side. Xiaolu seems content to just hold this down for now, looking over as best as he can safely. This looks like a pretty solid game here. Forrest could get through on a chicken dinner, especially with shots like that.
11th and 12th lined up against each other. Now it's just a matter of momentum for Forrest. Goes chasing after Alo. Alo does spot the attempt at a rotate in the vehicle. Scappy in some trouble. Two members now running right up into his face. Flashes, I believe, connect, so that should be a pretty clean pickup. Lou realizing that there was an opportunity to maybe backstab. A moment too late. Doesn't get the knock onto Olympus. Now just a 3v1 as Forrest knows where the last member is. Baron, Olympus holding one side of it. Scappy on the other.
Yeah, this should be Forrest's game for sure. Right in the side, yep, Scappy's got him. And that is going to be a... He had it at almost 300 meters.
So it's going to be Kickstart that gets the knock onto Gustav. Opon steals it away, and now FaZe realizing there's a lot of friends around them. Fex goes, all right, well, I guess if we're going to send it, we just got to send it. Goes after Tig, does find it, but Kickstart gets... Oh! That car almost could have been a problem for Kickstart.
It got him right in the invulnerable state, so he didn't get flushed by the car. He's going to put Tig in the car and say, we're going on a journey, my friend. Buckle up. Here we go. Shrimzy already a little bit further ahead, but I think at this point, as Falcons try to let everybody else fight it out, you see if you can find some level of safety to get this res to go. Vard is down to the blue and taking some damage. Opons is like, thank you very much. Take that point and continue on as E-Arena finds their moment to strike.
FaZe now in a lot of trouble. Na'Vi completely surrounding them. Falcons trying to regroup. James, though, he has some solutions for that one, and that's going to be the shotgun. At least get a point out of it. Shrimzy spots out what's going on with Opons. Gets an easy shot, and now it's just going to be the continued trek of these squads all stacked up next to each other. But Na'Vi has to be careful. They still have Genji to the west of them.
Yeah, Na'Vi not completely safe by any stretch of the imagination.
Get there. There you go.
Yep, that's okay. No problem at all. Tiggleton just doing a little leapfrogging here for the Falcons. Immediately gets lit up by Na'Vi, trying to press forward. A grenade, if he had gone any further in their direction, would have been knocked potentially. So he's going to have to rethink how he wants to maneuver.
We've also spotted, Vegapod has spotted out Twisted Minds. Looks like they were trying to drop a couple mortars over there. Falcons had the same idea Alcazia had, and Hakatori's going to spot out Tiggleton. Easy pickup for him. That's going to alert positioning. Genji, you can see, trying to swoop in behind this one, while Falcons just trying to get into the circle somewhere. It's just time to be bold. It's time to be brave. They're going to run next to FS. That's going to get instantly punched by Beamy. Shrimzy just sending it, and it's going to be getting close now to Team Liquid, who's got a pretty wide split. Purdy Curdy just out in the middle, going to spot this. Shrimzy has to abandon the vehicle, drops down, explodes. At least some cover to be had.
How is he not dead? He's on 1 HP there. He got a little lucky that Purdy Curdy got lit up when he tried to go out of the shelter. Finally finds his opportunity, gets the first aid, gets the finish. Bagel Pot cannot take this fight cleanly. They are hemorrhaging players left and right. And here comes 4 AM Shen with a P90 from behind.
Badlands fights are just going to go this way. It feels like there's enemies all around you. 4 angry men, they need something. It has just been brutal for them this entire game, but Twisted Minds now being the new threat right next to him, and Begapa just punished right in between the two.
Gen G losing players to Na'Vi on the other side, trying to take a fight on the southern edge of the circle, but this is looking dire for Park Pro. He's just sitting here hoping he can maybe come out of this with all 4 up. Can Al-Qadsiya do anything? Those are the big questions for our final 4 teams.
It's been a VP day. They have been just massive every single game, finding big points, finding success, chasing up to the top. They've got the compound, but they've got threats firmly surrounding them on every single side except for the south. They can't get too involved in anything without being afraid that somebody is just going to try to backstab them. Forest down low with Al-Qadsiya, as we've been watching for a while. Little Ghost creeping closer and closer by the second. But it's going to be Beamy that starts to spot out what's going on with 17 Gaming. That could open up more of a firefight. No matter how this goes, Forest and Al-Qadsiya are still very uncomfortable next to each other.
It's still right on top of VP. FaZe will end outside of their compound, though, but just barely, it looks like. So going to be kind of tricky for 17. They might be able to gatekeep VP out of the center circle long enough, as long as nobody does anything crazy to try to make a wide wrap. I mean, maybe there's a world where Forest tries to swing around, but knowing how many players are left in the lobby, you're pretty aware that the western edge is going to be occupied. Grenades are good.
Yeah.
A follow-up to take down Rello. Now it's all on to D, but we've seen what he can do.
He's got some cover to play from, the way that the smoke line comes out. If Forrest goes after this, D could have the angle to just demolish this approach. He's got to be careful. Lots of utility is coming after him. Limpus knows exactly where he is. They're going to be content on one side. A good peek around. Baron tries to play from the backside, seeing if he could surprise, but D does not fall for it. It's going to be enough, though. D with that knock. Is it going to provide any form? Then yes, 17 is going to use the distraction. They run right into it, instantly take off to the roofs.
That could be the winning move here for 17 Gaming. They now have control over the center circle ahead of Virtus Pro for sure. In fact, even Xiao Wu finding the knock onto Nixie. So Virtus Pro in scramble mode, because now they are pinched between Forest and 17 Gaming. This has gone from looking like a VP for sure win into, oh no, we are in trouble.
Forest just sending up any form of cover they can to see if they can make this a bit more dicey. Actually just going to use it to get on top of the roof, maybe compete up against some of the 17 positioning. 17 has inside track to the center dot whenever we start to see this collapse in 20 seconds-ish or so. Now 17 on the outside still has Little Ghost to play from to provide some supporting angles. VP now trapped in the compounds that's been providing safety for so much, but we know this squad can absolutely pop off. Is it just the fact that there's too many teams on top of them? They can't find anything to make it work, while Forest is continuing to climb the leaderboard.
Olympus is going absolutely crazy right now. He is hitting everything he looks at. He is making life miserable for everybody. Oh, Lil Ghost, how do you get down to safety there?
Forest off that last game, continuing their momentum. Xiao Bei does manage to follow up onto the nade, but Baron at least manages to secure the point onto Beamy. Xiao Wu, the rest of 17 sitting at 5 kills and control over the circle for now. Forest trapped on the other side of VP. VP trapped in their compound, not able to move. Scappy looks like he might just go for a bit of a position with the car, but he takes a lot of damage. That's going to stall that out. This is getting dicey as everything is starting to condense down to that center dot.
Imagine if you had a C4 here as 17. You could actually just clean up like 6 kills with. Oh, there's a C4 for Scappy.
Oh
my
could
God.
Be big. Where does he want to send it? He's so close to VP. They could use that, or they could just roll it right through the center of it all. If he can get right into the mix of all of this, 17, do you even expect this to be coming? It's going to be close enough, but the timing for it's not going to out, and everybody manages to get to some form of safety.
It did push Lil Ghost into Nixie's viewpoint. Oh my God, he's got underneath him. He's got the shotgun underneath. Corexi on the other side of the vehicle. Xiao Wu trying to lock down this angle. If he can win this fight against Corexi, maybe they can contain VP.
It spun everything around. VP used the opportunity. Panzerfaust right into Nick C's face. 7-7 up on top. Goes for his sneaky play back behind it all. Running out in the thick of a quick exchange going on for everybody. But it is going to be a big game for 17 Gaming.
Yeah, your PGS 7 champions have found success finally here at PGS 9, able to close out day 2 with a much needed chicken dinner. A stellar day for Virtus Pro. Yeah, they couldn't get the win here, but they got 2 chicken dinners and they shot up the leaderboard.
And 2 big back-to-back games for Forest. That was close. The timing on that C4, if it had gone just maybe a half second to a second beforehand, it would have just been a game changer.
It's all I could think about in that final circle. I'm like, if somebody has a C4, this could go real crazy real fast.
Well, it is